not say anything. My sister's there. And so I went out. The feeling inside of me that I had when we had done that, and I saw that that man noticed it and was coming after us. I had never felt a feeling like that before. Fear, terror, dread. Oh, we all trucked back up the hill, and the man made us make a snowman for him. And then he went home with his family. And now you take that feeling that I have and then multiply it by 1,000,000-fold, and then you kind of get the idea of what it's like to break God's covenant. It's not just pushing a snowman over that some family made. It's breaking the covenant with the eternal God, and He's watching. And there's nothing you and I can do about it. You can't go back up the hill and make the snowman. Okay, it's all right. You can't do anything about it. Once it's broken, it's broken. And that's what makes what comes next so amazing. This is the covenant I will make with the people of Israel after that time, declares the Lord. I will put my law in their minds and write it on their hearts. I will be their God, and they will be my people. No longer will they teach their neighbor or say to one another, know the Lord, because they will all know me, from the least of them to the greatest, declares the Lord. For I will forgive their wickedness and remember their sins no more. It's that last sentence that we want to focus on. I will forgive their wickedness and remember their sins no more. Put the question up there so you can realize it. What does God promise you in that verse? He chooses not to remember what you have done wrong. He chooses every single day to put it behind him. He chooses every single day to forgive everything that we have done wrong against him, so that our consciences are at peace. We are at peace with God once again. And he can do that because of what the Prince of Peace did. Because of Jesus. Because Jesus paid for everything you and I have done wrong. Because Jesus came to restore peace between humanity and God. It's because of his death to pay for everything we've done wrong that God each and every day looks at you and says, I forgive you. Because of Jesus, every day God looks at you with glowing admiration and love. You're my child. Jesus goes through that website that has everything we've done wrong, if such a thing existed, and he wipes it clean. Takes away all the cookies. There's nothing left. There's no dark web where some of those are hidden. He deletes the whole thing. And instead what he puts onto that website is videos and descriptions of you as perfect. Because through Jesus Christ, that's who you are. Through Jesus Christ, that's what God sees. He sees his children. And he beams with admiration. And that's all well and good, isn't it? And we love to hear that. It's a much harder thing to believe, isn't it? It's a much harder thing to believe and take to heart. Because we hold on to things. I mean, just imagine if there were a website that documented everything you ever did wrong. You know, all the slip-ups, the mistakes, everything. All of it was logged in there, the videos, the descriptions, the pictures, all of it. Reality, there is no website like that, right? Except for this thing right here. Our mind. We don't need a website to do it because we remember them. We don't remember all of them. A lot of them just fall off the precipice into the pit of the forgotten. But there are a few of those things in our lives that we remember. And they pop into our psyche, into our mind's eye at the weirdest times, completely unexpected, and we can remember the date and the time, the sights and the sounds and the smells. The video replays in our mind, and we're left with that guilty feeling again. It's the things that wake us up at night in a cold sweat. It's those things. What do we do about those? What do we do about those things that we just can't get off of our mind and we just can't seem to forget? Do we go to God? I mean, we do sometimes, but I think sometimes we just view God like Santa Claus. You know, the song goes, right? He's making a list, he's checking it twice. He's going to find out who's naughty and nice. How many of us maybe in the back of our mind think God is this elf in red coat who's standing there with a clipboard, watching with a pen? Oh, okay. Write that down. Huh. Interesting. And we look at our life and we see, oh, everything's going well, everything's good, everything's great. God must love me. Or everything's going poorly, everything's horrible. God must be mad at me again. God must be angry with me. And how often don't we project onto God like he's Santa Claus or he's a genie? And our relationship with him and his love for us rises and falls on the basis of how we live our life or don't live our life. If you ever have that thought, and when you have that thought, and you struggle to put the things you've done wrong behind you, I want you to go back to that covenant that God established. I will forgive their wickedness and will remember their sins no more. God has established an agreement with you, and it's this. You're forgiven because of what he's done. He puts your sins behind him each and every day because of what Jesus has done. That's the agreement he made with you at your baptism. That's the agreement he made with you when he brought you to faith. He would be your God, and he would put those things aside each and every day. And because God has done that, do you know what it means you can do? If God has forgiven you, the King of heaven and earth, the creator of everything, the one who brings existence out of nothing, if he says you're forgiven, you know what that means you can do? You can forgive yourself. You can choose every day to put those sins behind you. You can choose every day not to remember them because of what Jesus has done. You don't have to carry them around with you and wonder if God is going to come and get you, if he's coming back to make you pay for them somewhere down the line. You don't have to look over your shoulder wondering if the Almighty is coming to get you, because through Jesus Christ, God says you're forgiven, and his covenant says he remembers your sins no more. So put them behind you. Forgive yourself, because God has already forgiven you. And his verdict is the only one that matters. God's not out to get you, which means you can live at peace. I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Kelsey and I, my wife and I, went to Starbucks. She had gestational diabetes for the last segment of her pregnancy, and so couldn't have sugar and all the fun things. But as soon as that pregnancy was done and she was in the clear, she and I wanted to go to Starbucks so she could get one of her holiday drinks, get the peppermint mocha, just down 50 grams of sugar. It's all good. So we get in the line, get in the drive-thru line, and I order the peppermint mocha. I get a regular coffee so that she can order peppermint mocha, and get to the front of the line, and I hand money over, and the clerk said, "Somebody's paid for your drinks already." Wow, cool, that's neat, wonderful. So we took the drinks, and I asked, can we pay for the family behind us? Sure. Ended up being twice as much as we were going to pay for our drinks. That's okay. It's all good. We're paying it forward, right? And as I left that drive-through line, you know what I didn't do? I didn't stop in the parking lot, park the car, and say to Kelsey, "You think they're really paid for?" I don't know. Maybe we should go inside, just give them some money, just to be safe. No, we didn't. We left. And as we left the parking lot and turned onto the main street, I didn't look in my rearview mirror expecting to see a Starbucks employee tearing down the street after me, coming after me because I just shoplifted some coffee. I've never lost any sleep over the last several weeks thinking, well, maybe the coffee's not paid for. Maybe I should go back. Maybe I should pay double for every coffee from here on out just to make up for it. I haven't. And it sounds silly. But the reality is, those coffees are paid for. I can live in peace and enjoy them. And now think about that in respect to your relationship with God. When Jesus says your sins are forgiven, you have to stop in the parking lot today after worship and think, were they really? Maybe I should go back into the sanctuary and give some more offerings. Just to make sure. I mean, you never know. When you turn off on Indiana later today, you don't have to look in the rearview mirror expecting to see me come charging after you. You didn't pay for all of them yet! And you don't have to wake up in a cold sweat wondering if what you've done wrong is coming back to get you. Because through Jesus Christ, it's all paid for. That's what it means to be at peace with God. So, dear friends, live in that peace that the Prince of Peace brings to you. Live in that peace that He won for you so that you can be at peace with God and be at peace with yourself. Amen.